John Carter is a Civil War veteran who awakes to find himself on another planet.
My name is John Carter.
But he soon finds out the inhabitants are bracing for war.
Fate has brought you here, John Carter.
After saving her life, he falls in love with a princess while trying to stop a deadly conflict. In John Carter.
John Carter, we all have just seen it. Dennis, what did you think about it?
In 1911, Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote the first of a series of novels called A Princess of Mars. And the main character of this novel was John Carter, who was a soldier who fought in the Civil War for the Confederates. On Mars, there are two races. One is four-armed green men called the Tharks, and then the other race is the red men of Mars, and which are essentially human beings. Now, the red men are having a civil war. And very early on, he meets Dejah Thoris, a princess and heir to the throne of one of the warring factions of the Red Men. And of course, as things happen in Pulp Fiction, right, he falls in love and proceeds to try to rescue her and help her for the rest of a series of novels.
What's here in the movie feels like 11 books, or however many of it is, condensed into one movie. Because very quickly, this movie becomes incomprehensible. You've got so many alien races, and you've got so many, this group of people is controlling this group of people, and they have a weapon of blue light that they're using, but we don't know where the weapon of blue light came from, and it's just a mountain of plot.
I admired the screenwriters. They really wanted the story to unfold, and everything was explained, but it was just so dense that there were parts that dragged on.
What's contributing to this sense of having so much plot is a problem that's inherent in any story that takes place on a mythological world. You have the writers walking this fine line of trying to tell you enough so that you understand what's going on, but not telling you so much of things that don't really matter, like how the blue energy works or how he moves back and forth from world to world.
So it seems like there's a common trend now with storytelling in films is to just do easy answers. And I think maybe audiences now just have ADD where it's like, let's get to the action now.
Essentially, the plot clicks along in the sense of we move from this scene to this scene to this scene, and there aren't a lot of moments of breath between scenes. We don't learn a lot about John Carter.
The Bryan Cranston character, the Colonel, at the beginning, is reading his service record. So we know exactly what he did and who he was during the Civil War. He's lost his family. He wears their wedding rings still. And this plays into his grudging acceptance of the budding romance with Dejah Thoris.
Taylor Kitsch, he can't hold this movie. He's wooden, he's stiff. He's got this voice that sounds like he's trying to do Christian Bale from Batman.
But that
it's
is
like,
his voice. That's the thing. He's not being fake. Like Christian Bale is like, blah, blah, blah. Like that's how he actually sounds.
No, Taylor Kitsch doesn't sound like that.
His
He's doing a voice.
deep.
He's deliberately doing
Deep
a
and
voice.
southern.
He's like, I'm John Carter from Earth.
Tars Tarkas. Tars Tarkas. Captain John Carter, Virginia.
I really like that they cast Lynn Collins. I mean, you think about other action movies like Transformers where they just cast really beautiful women as eye candy, but they can't act. And Lynn Collins actually could. And when she was wielding her sword, like you actually believed like this woman knows how to fight.
That I might quibble on.
No. I think she was good. I think she was really good.
Basically, a TV lineup is the supporting cast of this movie. You've got actors like Dominic West, who was in The Wire. You've got Bryan Cranston, of course, from Breaking Bad. Kieran Hines, who was in Rome and a lot of other movies. I don't feel that the script gives any of these actors a whole lot to do. They're just sort of there in the background going along with the plot, and good actors don't get a chance to act.
The people who played the aliens, though, I thought they did a really good job with their voices. Their voices brought something to the characters, especially in the fact that they looked very similar, so they brought enough to where you could actually distinguish them.
Well, this is directed by Andrew Stanton, who's a Pixar veteran. He co-directed A Bug's Life and then directed on his own Finding Nemo and WALL-E. What his two major pictures had, Finding Nemo and WALL-E, were these wondrous worlds. This world, we clip along at a pace just taking out plot point after plot point, and I never got a sense of what this Mars was, this Barsoom was.
I disagree with you. I think he took whatever he does in his Pixar movies and transplanted it in the live-action movie. But I think that it's a movie that if you just saw it once, you might miss a lot. I think you have to rewatch it.
I felt that sense of wonder and discovery in the theater watching the film that I did reading the books as a kid. When John Carter turns and he sees the two moons and he says, "Where am I?" I love those moments like that. Well, I guess we've said all we're going to say. Let's agree to disagree on John Carter of Mars. I think it's time that we take our tickets and give our verdicts.
Mm-hmm. John Carter has some nice technical elements, but it comes across as too silly and is oftentimes incomprehensible. Skip it. Oh.
John Carter is a well-done sci-fi film that never cuts any corners when it comes to story. However, that made it drag and a little long. Stream it.
I thought John Carter of Mars was a modern version of those great old pulp adventure stories. So give your adult self the night off and take your inner kid to the movies. See it.
So our votes add up to 1.5 tickets, which is a stream it for John Carter. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm gonna leap out of here.